Hello, punters. Welcome to this preview of the Super Saturday at Rosehill. The fantastic card. It is Golden Slipper Day. Right, we got Winks run around in the George Ryder Stakes. We've got the Autumn Sun in the Rosehill Guineas. Group racing all the way through the card. Let's get into it. This sensational field kicks off race number one, the first on the card, Tab Birthday Card Stakes. In this race on top, I've got number two, Resin. Look, draws barrier 11, which is a little bit of a concern, but hopefully J-Mac could steer it into a good position. Hopefully just about midfield. Looks to be a bit of speed in this race, so it should be able to come into the race nicely. It's 2 from 2, second up. Great stats in the wet. It's a good horse and ran quite nice last start, finishing off behind Winter Bride. That form's been franked as well with Sprite running second in the William Reid Stakes at Moonee Valley Friday night. So good form line there to follow. And I think Resin wins this race in the first to get Godolphin off to a good start, and when they've got a heavy hand in the card on the day. In for second, I have She Knows. Now, I think this horse is backing up off 1 week. Finished by an Easy Eddie, only just went down in that race. Comes into this, it's got much like Resin, has good wet track stats, and I just find that quick backup is quite interesting for me. So I've got it in for second. It has barrier 1, Hugh Bowman. Should get a nice track into the race. In for third, I've got the Kiwi horse in number 3, Avantage. Looks first up stats fantastic. 3 from 3 first up. It's won 6 from 7. So it'll be in the finish. I've got no doubt about it. It doesn't mind the wet track. It had one go on the wet track, and won that very nicely. So I think it'll go fine in these conditions, and it definitely has a bit of X factor about it. This horse Avantage. So I'll be keeping a good eye on it. And in for fourth, I've got number 5, Sweet Scandal. I think it could get an easy time up in the lead. Came in out of that Winter Bride We Own a Girl quality race 2 weeks ago, and very much like Resin, you got Sprite who ran brilliantly in the Group 1 William Reid on Friday night at the Valley, so good form line to follow there. If it gets a good time in the lead with Karen McAvoy in the saddle, it really could take this one out. So I think it's got those four. Looks to have the race between them. No knock on the rest. I don't mind. I think Serene Miss has got good second up stats within a chance. Into the Abyss, I've always had a bit of time for Into the Abyss. Was very good as a 3-year-old, ran some good races there, so it's got a chance. It's a bit of a tough one to kick off, but I think Resin should get the job done for James Cummings on what he has a great hand on the day. Race number 2, the Derby Munro Stakes, 3-year-old race over 1,200 metres. Look, the Classic Legend has all the accolades. This horse has got a huge spruik. It's got plenty of ability. Look, for me, I can't tap into the $1.80 now. I mean, I've had it on top the last, it's only 2 starts. Got your 6 when it won that on debut, and then obviously ran around $1.30. Got on early at the $1.60, where it won by 6 lengths last start. Look, no knock on it, but I just want to wait to see till it does it in this class. So I'm looking around it, and I'm having a look at Crone, number 9. Now, this horse ran brilliantly behind Anjana, really finished off nicely. Loomed and looked like it was going to be within a chance, and Anjana just finished off nicely. It was only 1.5 lengths off it. Anjana went and won at Moonee Valley on Friday, so the form line's there. I just think that's the wrong price for it, $26. I cannot get my head around that. I think that is way over the odds, and it's within a good chance in this race. Number 14, Classic Legend, in for second. Look, no knock, just can't take the $1.80. In for third, Wagner. Now, this horse has just been gelded. Now, we know with Tin Hat, it's a horse that had a massive spruik on it, got gelded, came back to the races and just obliterated. Now, this horse Wagner looks like it could be about to do the same. So I've got a good watch on it, and that's paying at $12. So I think I've got that in for third. I think it's a very, very good chance to run a very good race. In for fourth, I have Gem Song. Look, no knock on Gem Song. It's a fantastic horse. Loves this distance. It, hasn't missed the place in all of its starts, so it'll be within the finish. For me, though, it meets its matches a couple of better ones in this race, if you ask me. But I've got absolutely full respect for Gem's Song, and it will certainly be in the finish. You got no doubt about that. So just to recap the numbers in the second race, number 9 Crone, it is a bit of a knockout chance. Number 4 ahead of number 14 Classic Legend in for second. Number 13 Wagner in for third, and number 1 Gem's Song in for fourth. Race number 3 is the Irresistible Pools Manion Cup Group 3 over 2400. Look, good race this. There's some good sayers in this. Look, I've landed with Shiroa. I think that first up Randwick run was sensational. Finishing in behind High Am. Just powered to the line. 2400 looked like it's going to suit perfectly. Its only other run was over 2800 at Flemington, where it beats Steel Prince. So I think that's sort of a good form to follow. Steel Prince will go around at Mornington, so we should be able to. Obviously, they ran at different times, so I'm not saying we can line up the form lines, but sure looks the one to beat. In for second, I have Rodrigo. Now, this horse finished behind Red Cardinal last week, and so, I mean, it's backing up, has got the quick backup. I'm really intrigued by it. I think it's a really good chance off that backup. It was an excellent run, really made Red Cardinal work for it. Look, room to be the winner and just got overrun late. So I've got it in for second. In for third, I've got number 9 Midterm. Now, this horse was scratched from the Mornington Cup to run here, so I've got that as a bit of an asterisk. It was well backed on debut in the Mornington Cup Prelude listed race on Blue Diamond Day at Caulfield, and ran quite well behind Stick and Darabad. So I've got a bit of a asterisk sense of that. The decision to bring it up to Sydney intrigues me, so I think it'll be within a chance. And in for fourth, I've got Big Duke, who finished off excellent last start. In behind High Am, and then finished second to Red Cardinal on debut. Red Cardinal's obviously gone on with it since then. I think, look, it just didn't quite get in the right part of the track. Still came home pretty well. Comes back to Rosehill, where it hasn't missed a place, so it'll be within the finish, and it steps up to 2400. Enjoys the rain-affected track. Obviously, that Ramwick one was on a good track, so it'll expect a lot of improvement for Big Duke. So a good race, race number 3. Just recap the numbers. I've got number 10 Shiroa on top, number 11 Rodrigo in for second, number 9 Midterm in for third, and number 1 Big Duke in for fourth. Race number 4, Rosehill Guineas. Well, I'll make this short and sharp. The Autumn Sun wins. This horse is just it's beyond Winks, arguably the best horse in Australia. Look, would love to see Eden Mystic Journey go head to head at one stage. That would be fantastic. But look, you could argue its wins have been for his quality not quite up to, but gee whiz, that last win against Fundamentalists in the Ramwick Guineas was unbelievable. Looked like there was no chance and just powered home. Yes, they ran the race well, but you've got to be a good horse to balance up and really chase them home from that far back, and it did so. It knuckled down the task. Looked like it was going to get there and got straight over the top. Just, it's a winning horse. Wouldn't say take the $1.35, but I will give you a way to go about this race, because I think there is a sort of a good way to play it. But yeah, the Autumn Sun, definitely on top for me. In for second, now this will be interesting. I've been a massive fan of Mazda County. I knew it was coming over to Australia, and I did back it. I didn't back it first up, but obviously the Autumn Sun was in that race. But I just thought, wanted to keep an eye on it. I think it's got a real chance here, but I'm actually looking at Crown Prosecutor that's coming across from New Zealand. Stephen Marsh, trained galloper, won the New Zealand Derby at Alice, but fantastic run over 2400. Look, steps back to 2000. That's a little bit of a concern. It's run prior over the 2000 wasn't great. Finished 9th, but yeah, for me, the Derby winner, it's been a recipe that has worked so many times in this race. So I've got to have it in, and it's it doesn't mind the wet track. It's had one run on the wet track and ran quite well. So I've got to have it in. So I've got Crown Prosecutor in for third. I've got number 4 Surely Sacred in for third. Sorry, so Crown Prosecutor in for second. And I've actually got Surely Sacred in for third. Now, it's got the wide barrier to deal with, but this horse finished behind Crown Prosecutor in the Derby. But before that, it won it over the 2100. So maybe perhaps that just signals that dropping back to 2000 might be its go, and it could run a really good race here and be within the finish. So I've got it in for third. I've got Radisson County in for fourth. Now, I've just got it ahead of Chapata and Dealmaker. I think they're the other two that could run a good race. Especially Chapata, I've been really keen on this horse since that run behind Extra Brute in the no, not the Australia Guineas, in the Derby. That was a sensational run, and I think I've just keeping my eye out for this horse. Maybe next run will be the way to go. But yeah, Madison County in for fourth. Look, consistent horse that's got a lot of ability. The 3-year-old, should chase home well. And in the end, it had similar closing splits to the Autumn Sun, which is quite interesting. But for me, the 2,000 metres is just a fraction of a bit of a query. Doesn't mind the wet going, so it'll handle that okay. And it may even actually be improved. But for me, Crown Prosecutor and Surely Sacred are the two better New Zealand horses, so I'm going to go with them. So, but if you box trifecta with those, maybe add in Chapata and Dealmaker, I reckon you've got a very healthy first four. Obviously, if Sun wins, it might not give you a high dividend, but if some of those jump around a bit, you could probably get yourself a decent one. So that's probably the way to go about it. So just to recap the numbers: number one, the Autumn Sun on top, ahead of number 3, Crown Prosecutor with J Mac in the saddle. Number 4, Surely Sacred in for third, and number 2, Madison County in for fourth. Race number 5 is the George Ryder Stakes, and well, what can you say? This horse, Winx, she's going to be one of the greatest of all time. Simple as that, and there's absolutely zero chance I'll bet against her. No one would. Still waiting for the day that she comes up against someone who could probably test her. The Autumn Sun, Missy Journeys, unfortunately there's just nothing here, so you have to maybe perhaps hope that something can come from overseas to test her, which looks unlikely at this stage. Don't know how much longer she'll go around for, but you just sit back and enjoy how good she is. She'll win this race ahead of number 1, Land of Plenty. Now, this horse was scratched last week and taken up to this Rosehill race, so I was a bit interested with that. Finished by 1.1 lengths off Elite, so he's come out, ran a third in the All-Star Mile, so the form's there. It's just ultra consistent. It's not the best on the wet track, but I just think it's a big, powerful horse. Should be able to stride. Probably get a similar spot to Winx, so I hope you can follow it into the race and just track it home and run a good race. In for third, I've got Sophie Bond. I'm surprised that this is out so far, like $41 and $3.20 the place. I think $3.20 the place could be the way to go with it. Loves the wet going, so there's no issue there. Two placings on the soft, one placing on the heavy. Has run well at this track once before and was excellent in that Australia Cup behind Harlem, up finishing in fourth. We should get a decent form line out of this in terms of. I've had a bit of mind by here. Trap for Fools in the Mornington Cup. Sorry, punters, that one evaded me. But before that, it was 0.1 of a length on 50 Stars. 50 Stars went to Randwick last week and won impressively. So the form line's there say that Sophie Bond will run well. In for fourth, I have Brutal. I think it can bounce back. It was a bit disappointing in the Canterbury League Club Stakes behind Trapeze Arts, but only finished 2.9 lengths off it. That's pretty good form for me. Start at 1,500 is interesting. It has had a run at 1,400 at Flemington, which it ran, just beat Leonardo da Vinci. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes over the 1,500. I think it might suit it a little bit better, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, you just sit back and enjoy this wonder mare that is Winx. Number 4 on top, Winx. Number 1, Land of Plenty in for second. Number 3, Sophie Bond in for third. And number 9, Brutal in for fourth. Race number 6, the Ramford Stakes, 2,000 metres, Group 1, weight for age. I've looked outside of Avilius and I've gone with a horse called He's Eminent. Now, this horse is an import from the UK. It's had some runs. It was a bit disappointing last prep in the UK, but before that, its runs in France were quite good. It won over 2,000 metres and actually beat Avilius in that race. Now, I think it has a lot of ability. J-Max on board. More than likely will go forward, which looks like a good option because there's really not too much speed in this race. The Taj Mahal will probably go forward. Besides that, I can't see anything else. Ace High will go forward. Besides that, yeah, it could really get a really nice run in behind him, and I think it'll be a very, very good chance to win. So I've got number 5, He's Eminent on top. Number 2, Avilius in for second. Can't knock it. I mean, it was a bit disappointing in the Australian Cup, but he's a champion horse, and he stays at the 2000. He's back back at Rosehill. It'll improve. I've got no doubt about that. Number 10, Dance. Now, this New Zealander was excellent in the Group 1 behind Melody Bell, who's there. I guess that their champion horse over there. Loves the wet going, has never missed a place from 4. 2 on soft, a win in a place, and 2 on heavy, a win in a place. So it should be within the finish. Got barrier 1 as well. Should be able to get a nice cart into the race for Opie Bosson. In for 4th, I've got Ace High. I've got it just ahead of Unforgotten and the Taj Mahal. I mean, look, this race has got a lot of depth to it, but I think Ace High, should get a nice run on the speed. And it was pretty good in that Australian Cup. Really, actually came home quite nicely. I think if you're going to have Avilius run around as the favourite, you've got to have Ace High in the mix because it didn't finish that far off at last start. So yeah, I've got number 5, He's Eminent on top to beat number 2, Avilius, and in for 3rd, I've got Dance, and number 10, and in for 4th, I have number 3, Ace High. Race number 7. Now, this is the Golden Slipper, and I don't know about you guys, but geez, this is so hard to pick this year. It's a very, very deep field. Look, the way I'm going to tackle it is that looking at the speed map, there's a ton of speed as there always is. So for me, that will really suit Loving Gabby. And the one thing that I have noticed is Oisin Murphy is on board. They have flown this jockey down from the UK to ride it. I was really keen on Hartnell in the All-Star Mile at $13. Probably should have won. I was absolutely spewing. Bringing Willie Buick down from the UK for that ride, they were clearly confident. I think the same thing goes here with Loving Gabby. They're bringing it into this race fresh, ready to go. I think it can really improve. Now, it was really good in that Blue Diamond Stakes. Didn't have a whole lot of luck and really charged home late. I just think that this race could suit perfectly for it again. It will really get its chance to thunder down the outside. The only issue is the wet track. I mean, the wet track, obviously it's a lot easier to go to 2-year-olds that have the form on it, like Cosmic Force, etc., etc. But for me, I think Loving Gabby is a big, strong horse that will get through the wet ground nicely and will come over the top of him and win. So I've got it on top, number 16, Loving Gabby. 15, barrier is not a concern because a lot of them will go forward, should be able to slot in behind at the back and run on nicely. Number 10, Pinsec. Now, this Godolphin runner has gone a different way, but it was sensational in the Canberra race. The Black Opal, of course, at Canberra. Beat Rome, but it beat by 4 lengths. And so I know that field may not stack up too well in comparison to some of these, but did so well. And for me, it was just an impressive run. I know it can look easier when they face opposition that isn't as good as what it will be facing here, but I just think it may be the knockout chance, Pinsec. So I've got it in for 3rd. Number 5, Cosmic Force, in for 3rd. Look, has that run last start, but beating Born Warrior was unbelievable. But similar thing to Pinsec, was against weaker opposition, but it was such a strong win that you cannot ignore it. It was a fantastic win. Got to have it in the mix, and it won't get an easy time on the lead, which is the concern, but I think it'll run well. In for 4th, I have number 2, Microphone. Now, this horse is a very good horse. Hadn't seen the wet going yet, but has taken all before it and has beat Cosmic Force in its run at Randwick over 1,200. So if Cosmic Force is going to be the favourite, Microphone's got to be in with a chance, you would think. So I've got it in. Look, talking about some of the runners outside of it, Yes. I was very keen on it, but barrier 19 looks shocking for her. I can't see it in the finish now. Could surprise. Tenley, I have been very keen on. I've backed at both, all three starts here, for a matter of fact, and it has never let me down. But I've jumped off her here because I'm not sure how she'll go through the wet going, and I just think that coming from the back, Loving Gabby's got that better turn of foot, in my opinion, a lot more powerful, and Pinsec just might get that better run. So for me, look, I said J Mac, he can work wonders, but for me, Tenley, I just couldn't quite slot it in. And Exhilarates is a good chance as well. Now, this horse obviously won the Magic Millions. It was 1.5 lengths off Tenley last start, and it went resuming off a two-month spell where it won, obviously, the Magic Millions. So I think it's got a great chance. Exhilarates, I thought it was a good run. So they're sort of the chances for me. But just to recap the numbers, I've got number 16, Lovey Gabby, on top to win the Golden Slipper. In for second, I have number 10, Pinsec. In for third, I have number 5, Cosmic Force. And in for fourth, number 2, Microphone. Race 8 is the Galaxy Group 1, 1,100 metres, and what a field this is. Absolutely sensational. We've got Red Zell, we've got Ball of Muscle, just some fantastic horses in this race. And look, I found it quite tough to find a way to dissect this, much similar to the Golden Slipper. There's a lot of chances in this race. Look, for me, I've ended up landing with. Now, just let me bring up the page. I've landed with Graph. I think that run was really good up the straight in the Newmarket. Look at Sunlights. Frank the Form come out, won the William Reid Stakes. I just think it comes back here to Rosehill, gets that soft track. It's a huge chance to win. It gets that 1,200 back to 1,100. Sorry, from the 1,200. So yeah, for me, I just think it's real good chance to win this one. Brent Abdallah on board. In for second, I've got number 8, Viridine. I think Viridine is a very, very good chance here. Look, closed off really nicely behind Red Zell and Ball of Muscle, and has a massive weight swing on him. Is from its four second up stats, it's 2 wins and a placing from 4. Good wet track stats. Look, for me, I've got to have it in. It's a great chance. So that's number 8, Viridine, for second. In for third, I have Red Zell. Look, you can't leave the champ out, especially on the wet going. If they get into the heavy range, I'll probably put him on top. Got to wait and see on this track at the moment now. One interesting thing is, though, Red Zell much prefers Randwick to Rosehill. Has never won at Rosehill from 4 starts, so that's a little bit of a concern for me, but I still think the champ can run a placing, so that's why I got him. If it goes to a heavy track, I could probably change my mind on that one. He's just fantastic through the heavy going. Obviously, the big thing with that was his run in the Everest. That was sensational. So, yeah, I've got it in. Number 3, Pirata. Look, no, Pirata just sort of got out of its ground a bit last start. Nothing really came from the back in that Trapeze Artist race. The Canterbury Club's Stakes, that was. Look, second up last prep, just beat by Siege of Quebec, was quite unlucky. I think it can bounce back, Pirata. I've just got that feeling that you can't ride a good horse off. Look, I've got a little watch on Ball of Muscle, no knock on it. Just don't think it'll get as soft a lead this time around. Its first up stats are slightly better than second up, but it's a good horse. If I'm playing first fours, you definitely have got to have Ball of Muscle in. I couldn't find Nature Strip. Now, the one interesting thing about it, though, is J Mac on board. We saw him steer the troublesome horse of Very Elegant to victory last week impressively. Can he do it with Nature Strip? His trial was fantastic at Randwick. But for me, every time it has a race where there's heavy pressure, which there will be here, he's got the champion Red Zell who'll be up on the speed. He'll have Ball of Muscle up on the speed. Easy Eddie will probably go forward. Ball will be up there. Maybe he won't lead, but he'll be up there. Jungle Edge will go forward. So for me, so much speed in the race. Could get caught 3 wide because he's just going to want to go. He may have the toe to cross him, but to be too much pressure, I couldn't back him. Until he finds a small field with a bit less pressure, that's the way to go with Nature Strip, in my opinion. So just to recap the numbers in the Galaxy. Number 6, Graph on top. I think it's his time to shine. I think he comes out on top and wins this one. The 3-year-old colt for Chris Lees. Number 8, Viridine in for second. That lightweight looks to be a very big advantage on its rivals of Bull of Muscle and Redzill after last start. Number 1, Redzill, the champ, in for third. And number 3, Pirata, in for fourth. Race number 9, final of the card, the opponent stakes Group 3 over 1,900 metres. I've got number 1, I'm a Princess on here. Barrier 1, Huey Bowman. It's been running quite well. Look, 4.2 legs, just got blown off a bit behind Spanish Reef. Spanish Reef ran quite well in the last race on the card at Moonee Valley on Friday night. Before that was 2.5 lengths of secondary bed. So we raced some good company. And for me, I just think it can get it right this time around. Huey Bowman on board. I've really just got a bit of time for it, and I think it can win this race. I'm a Princess. Number 8, Samari, in for second. Was a great win at Moonee Valley. Look, had all the favours. I mean, I'm not going to make that excuse, but I think it'll go through the heavy, get the wet going quite nicely. Look, really good chance. Number 12, Jungle Fish. Now, this Mick Kent horse, he knows how to place him, Mickey Kent, and it's been 3 from 3 so far this prep. You may not look, going from a 64 up to a Group 3 is a huge step, but this horse got a lot of ability. I think it'll go through the wet ground as well. So I've got to have it in. And then in for fourth, I have a horse called Marcelina. Now, this horse is a former New Zealander. Looks been a little bit disappointed, but I thought it wasn't all that bad chasing home by foreign territory. Only finished 2.5 lengths off. Again, benchmark 70 up to a Group 3, but I've just got that. There's just that feeling that it can run a good race. Other horses I don't want to discount all too soon. Girl Tuesday, Harmattan, they're all a good chance as well. So just to recap the numbers, I'm a Princess on top. I think it's a very good chance to win this race. In for second, number 8, Samari. Look, if it gets a good time in the lead, which the speed map says it could have a few challenges, but it still might get a nice time in the lead. Look, you can definitely give a good sider and would prove hard to run down. In for third, I've got number 12, Jungle Fish, and in for fourth, I have number 13, Marcelina, just as a bit of a knockout chance. Got that sense that the wet track form. Look, now I know it says it hasn't run a place on a wet track, but over there, those New Zealanders, they get through the wet ground pretty well usually. So I've got to have it in. Got to give it a bit of a sly hope. Just think there's a bit of a knockout chance. So that's the card at Rosehill. Good luck, punters. Enjoy some fantastic horses going around. Two of the champs in the autumn, Sun and Winks, and hopefully get some winners. My Mornington Cup preview will be out very shortly. Make sure you tune into that. Head on down to the course. It's a fantastic day of racing. You can get on the Mornington Cup and the Hariba Stakes. You can watch the Rosehill meeting. It's a fantastic meeting. So get down to Mornington tomorrow, and happy punting tomorrow.